What is up, ladies and germs, and all other non-binary identifying individuals? I love you. Thanks for joining me again for a collection update. I hear the cat. He knows I pushed record. He'll be coming down to ruin this video any second. So I've been getting a lot of stuff in. You know the drill. I swear, I just act like I'm gonna hold off for a bit, and whenever I do that, something happens. I come into something, I find something, and all hell breaks loose, and I fucking buy stuff. It probably seems like I'm going broke. I'm not. I'm doing fine. Just fucking love metal. So yeah, we got some vinyl, good stuff. A lot of old school stuff. I don't know if that matters to you or whatnot. Hey, by the way, I hope you liked the new intro. Just wanted to do some housekeeping, keep it fresh, get rid of some bullshit from there. So down to business. What we're listening to is The Howling Void. My, does it howl? Megaliths of the Abyss is the title of this record, and it came out on Black Plague Records. I'm trying a new angle with my light because I notice whenever I don't know, I'm just trying to get it so that I'm not like dead on whiting out the stuff that I show you or whatever. Little known release. I don't know if this guy wound up doing anything else, but it's just abysmal funeral doom, and it kind of has that like angelic kind of quality to it, like Shape of Despair kind of. Really good stuff. I haven't picked it up in a long time. Just been kind of feeling like digging back into the nooks and crannies of my collection and listening to like stuff that I haven't pulled out in a really long time. So I don't know, we'll see where that goes, but I got a lot of cool stuff in here. I don't know, we'll just randomly pull left and right. So in my last video I was going apeshit about Ungod. Still kind of going apeshit about Ungod, but cooling off a little bit. That 7 Infernal Pacts of whatnot, their debut is so good. Just black metal that just hits right where it's supposed to. So I picked up every Ungod thing that I could get my hands on that I didn't already have, and one of those was this Sexual Blood Rites 7-inch, which is a split with Ungod with Sacrilegious Rite. Obscure Abhorrence put this out. This was in my good buddy's distro. I was over at his house last weekend. Comes in a little sleeve with the same artwork. Yeah, I haven't even spun it yet. But I picked up also for, I don't know, $3 or something, this. And I got this from Armageddon shop out in Boston. I find myself ordering from them on Discogs pretty regularly. In fact, twice this week. I'm sure they're getting pretty fucking annoyed with me ordering one CD and then 3 days later ordering something else. But this is Chaos, Conquest, and Defiance. And this is a collection of all split material, EPs, live shit like that, you know, just one of those stupid compendiums. And I don't know, I just kind of thought, rather than start digging into their other full lengths, I would get this and just kind of see if there were any like really super nasty demo stuff or EP material. But I spun this and it is not very good. But this is, I'm gonna alert the censors on this one, but this is one of their releases called Phallus Cult. Check out that artwork. Check out this artwork anyways. I don't know, Ungod are I'm still kind of learning what I feel about them. Sometimes I feel like they're fucking amazing German black metal. Other times I would say they're just kind of chasing that debut, the quality of that debut around, trying to recreate that magic. That fucking thing had the black metal magic that keeps me buying black metal and listening to black metal constantly. But I haven't heard anything else that was up to that quality from them yet. But I'll probably wind up getting a lot of their other stuff and just seeing how I feel about it. Continuing on, I don't know, when I was up in town seeing my friend, I decided to visit Half Price Books, which I have pillaged several times last year, and I have, and my friends have thoroughly bled them dry. There was nothing left in their metal section, but I wound up picking this up out of the regular section. Wasp, I don't know. Fuck Like a Beast is an amazing fucking metal song, and I've just kind of always thought, yeah, why not pick this up? I might even wind up getting more Wasp material. I'm not that much of a heavy metal fan or 80s kind of guy or whatnot, but I didn't want to leave empty-handed, I suppose. So also picked up from his distro, paganflames.com, the best prices in town. I'll leave a link down below. He has seriously some pretty insane sales, and he has some really good stuff. And I feel like what happens is I'll browse through his website to see if anything jumps out at me. There's a couple of things or whatnot, but eventually I'll find a band or something, and then I'll discover that he has something in their distro. So like, this is a really good example. This is Pathogen from Singapore, and I got into these guys because Eric Bauer played them in one of his videos, and I wound up buying that CD days later, but I never really thought to get more of their material. This is Lust of Evil, full length from 2012, 11 maybe, and it is fucking unholy, just underground, dirty death metal. It's so fucking good. I probably played this through 4 times or so this week. Is that all I got from his distro? I believe it is, but he also sold me some LPs from his collection. Now, strap your boots on, because this is some really, really killer stuff. First we have Obituary, Slowly We Rot. You would probably ask me, is that an original? And I don't know, but I will show you. 89 Roadrunner. This is an old, like all 3 of these LPs are really old, and they've been in his collection for a very long time. Let's see this insert. I haven't even spun this yet. I am not the biggest Obituary fan, honestly. I have had Cause of Death on CD for a really long time, but I don't know. It's not because of a dislike of them or anything. It may just be that they've always just been kind of a little bit too on the nose for me to be interested in listening to more of them or whatnot. That's just kind of my 2 cents from a distance, but I've just never really gotten around to spending a lot of time with them. So I'm going to jam the hell out of this and see what I think. I had meant to pick that up on CD a couple of months ago, just when the wild hair in my ass grew out of the crevasse to do so. Also picked up Terror and Submission by Holy Terror. And again, yeah, here we have the Road Racer, Drugs Are No Fun little guy. Actually, from what I hear, drugs are really fun. And you should use them. They're a lot of fun. This is one of those thrash bands that are so fucking infernal, unholy, and just blitzkriegi that it's surprising that they're from the West Coast of the United States. It seems more hurried, lightning speed, and furious like a German thrash metal band would be. But yeah, Holy Terror. You all know that one, and you definitely know this one. There we go. South of Heaven. Slayer. I had turned my back on Slayer a really long time ago. When I first was getting into metal, I went straight to black metal. And then I kind of started to dig around into the history and the older stuff. And none of my friends were into Slayer. But when I got South of Heaven, Seasons in the Abyss, I listened to the shit out of them. And maybe a year later or so, I discovered German thrash metal. And I just decided, Slayer's played out, I'm sick of them, fuck Slayer. And I haven't really owned a Slayer release until a couple months ago. I bought Haunting Chapel, and now this. I'm ready to accept some Slayer back into my life. Def Jam Recordings, probably black vinyl. This came out in 88. Yeah, nothing fancy about that release. So, those 3 old school LPs. I might pillage his collection some more and see what we can come up with. So yeah. Also picked up a few more things from my home slice, Kevin, who probably would prefer to not be called home slice, but that's fine. Not a whole lot this time, but I did pick up Dawn of the Black Hearts by, what are they called? Mayhem? Yeah. So this is the infamous bootleg. Ooh, should I not show that on whatever? Infamous bootleg live in 1990. This has some bonus material on it, live in 85, but it is, the sound quality on it's terrible, and it is a Venom cover, a Celtic Frost cover, and another Venom cover, I think, Dance Macabre, Black Metal, Procreation of the Wicked, Welcome to Hell. Why bother? So yeah, this was put out by Anti-Grishnok, Kill Burzum Now. Cool. And it is a pro CD, so I don't know why they felt the need to put this in a DVD box, but whatever. I bought that in a jewel case back in like 98, 97 or so. And I don't know if I got rid of it or stolen or lost it or something like that along the way. I don't know what happened to it, so decided to pick it up. Also picked up Never Dreaming. Hot. Glare is the Death of Me. Monastir is the name of this band, and I wasn't familiar with this band whatsoever, but looking through the list, I had seen that Morbid Noise, Nuclear Blast. I had seen that the Crypt had reissued this, and that's all I need to hear to drop on a original copy of something that the Crypt released. It is, I listened to about half of it once. It is really, really weird, and I really wasn't feeling it, so we will have to revisit that. Next, I got Barathrin with Walpurgisnacht, Unisound. This is their second release, if I'm not mistaken. His Majesty at the Swamp being the debut, I think. This is a band sometimes I like more than Rotting Christ. I don't reach for that Greek Hellenic kind of stuff very often. I kind of wish I did more, but I don't know, I just don't. I guess I'm more of a Scandinavian kind of guy. But Barathrin, I think I like just as much as, or if not more, than Rotting Christ. Also picked up a fucking banger. I've been always meaning to pick up a copy of this, and since it's an 80s release, I kind of always meant to get it on vinyl, but that's not easy to do. But this is Darkness Descends by Dark Fucking Angel. The reason I kind of dawdled, I guess, to get around to buying this is because I've always thought Time Does Not Heal was the quintessential Dark Angel record, and it is. I'm not backpedaling on that at all, but I've just always, it's like, that's the album for me. When I want to hear Dark Angel, I want to hear Time Does Not Heal. For some reason, this kind of always sounded a little dirty, a little too nasty for me. And I don't know if this is a remaster or whatnot, but that sentiment is gone. This sounds fucking great to me. This came out in 2008 on Century Media. Has some live bonus tracks from 88, 89, right after this. Wait, when did this originally come out? I want to say 85? I don't know. Semantics, tomato, fuck it. Couple of things I ordered came in the mail. Whatever. Since the episode of Radical Research that had Believer and was it Cynic, Focus, and Pestilence. Was it Spheres? There was an album, or there's a podcast talking about those three albums because they all came out on the same day. And the only Believer that I had at that time was Sanity Obscure. So I had been kind of looking for a good price on this, and I finally found a reissue of it on Metal Mind Productions, 2007. So I picked it up. If you don't know, these Metal Mind does these reissues on gold CDs. I don't know if you can see that, but apparently the sound quality on these gold CDs is a lot better than a regular CD. And from what I've heard, like bigger name issues and bigger artists and stuff like that, the gold issues are really, really sought after and kind of valuable. So if I am after an old school album that has been reissued by Metal Mind, I will quite often opt for the cheaper, better sounding reissue, and it's also limited and hand numbered to 2,000 copies, because they're just a really great issue of classic albums. Also picked up Ultratomb Necro Vortex. My buddy Dave bought me this on cassette, and it fucking blew me away, and I wanted to dig into it all the way. So it is not convenient for me to sit it down here and listen to a cassette. This is the only tape player I have. I do have a little Walkman, but it's the aux jack in my car doesn't work, so really this is the only way I have to listen to cassettes. So I really wanted to have this in the car, so I picked that up. Just killer steamrolling fucking left-hand path kind of death metal from Quebec, I believe. Also got a couple of things in from Sepulchral in Canada. Wait, I just buried one of them. Okay, so if you're not familiar, and I've harped about this before, the exchange rate between the Canadian dollar and the US dollar is really, really advantageous for us shitty Americans. So he'll have 10 CAD cost on his site, or their site, or whatever. And that means that brand new full lengths wind up being like $7.50 or so, whatever that exchange rate might be. So it is a really good savings to pick up a couple of albums from his distro, pay like $6 or $7 shipping, and have, you save that much getting these. So I wound up picking up, and the whole reason that brought me to his distro was this Throne of Ahaz Niflheim. I had this on my want list for a really, really long time, and I am still looking for their second and final full length. But this, I didn't know this had been reissued with demo bonus tracks on it. So I signed right up and picked it up. Killer early Swedish black metal. Came out originally, I think, on No Fashion. I might just be thinking of the second full length, but I feel like I'm rambling a lot more here tonight than usual. Anyways, also picked up the new one from Nort. This is Endelicht. It's kind of like this Howling Void, but I think Nort is the fucking god of this kind of funereal doom metal. It is just so much further down into the chasm of darkness and depression than any other doom band is. This is just so fucking good. He uses piano to such great effect. And I don't feel like Nord is doing anything to change his style up from one album to another. You could probably put out fucking Link Fared again, and I'd buy it and think it was a new record and believe you. But man, Nord is fucking amazing. So also picked up this one from Crossvault, the All Consuming. I kind of dragged my feet on picking this up because I think the cover art on this is shite. But I picked up the Miles to Take EP by Crossvault a couple of weeks ago, and I had forgotten how much I like this band. So I decided to pull the trigger finally and get the third and final release from Crossvault. They are still active as far as I know, and probably have another full length or two in the pocket. This stuff is super good. It kind of toes the line between traditional heavy metal and kind of doomy kind of stuff, interluding a lot of acoustic kind of elements in there. It's very believable. It's a lot more emotional, I guess, than a lot of this kind of stuff. There's not a lot of like rock and roll kind of fun parts. It's pretty serious. It's pretty straightforward, candid, and heartfelt, and I really, really, really like that about it. It really sets it apart for me. Nicholas, the vocalist here, you might know him from Horn. He also does a lot of other great German stuff. And lastly, to your pleasure, last night I was at the wait, one more. A couple of videos ago, I played Flourishing in the background, and the fella who runs the label who had released that commented and got in touch and said, "Hey, I released that album. Thanks for playing that. Thanks for promoting my release. If you'd like, I can send you some more stuff." So he sent me this other Flourishing album. It's called A Momentary Sense of the Immediate World. He sent me a bunch of other stuff too, but this is the only thing that I've listened to so far. I'm gonna have to maybe listen to the other Flourishing album. That one was called The Sum of All Fossils, I think, to be able to compare a little bit more accurately. But I think this one reminds me a lot more of Dillinger Escape Plan, something like that. Like if Dillinger Escape Plan played less noodly, kind of shreddy stuff and were more dissonant and kind of big, overbearing kind of riffs, you would have Flourishing. It's really, really fun, energetic, and really weird and twisted. Kind of an amalgamation between that kind of Dillinger Escape Plan-y, sort of spastic, energetic, post-hardcore kind of stuff, and just like technical death metal a la Gorguts, I guess would probably be the most accurate thing. Okay, so last night, thrift store. I go in there every once in a while, as it had been a long time since I had been in there. And I just thought, what if there's a couple of CDs in there? Because there's been a few times where they've had some really good stuff. And again, they had a slew of kind of obscure stuff in there. Shit like kind of big label kind of stuff that I was like, I'm gonna pass on that, or I already have a lot of it. Anything from Sepultura, Marduk, Watain, God Dethroned. I passed on a God Dethroned album. Not sure if I should have picked that up or not. I was gonna contact Justin and ask what he thought, but anyways, I picked up a few things. One is the thing that I already had, Aeternus Beyond the Wandering Moon, but my copy of it was beat to shit, water damaged as all hell. And this is actually kind of hard to get. An original copy of it on Hammerheart is really expensive, and this unlicensed reissue by Candlelight and Carmageddon Media is also kind of hard to find, because I think this album is just completely out of print. I featured this when I bought it maybe 2 years ago or so in my video, and Aries, or Willie is his real name, contacted me and said that version that you have is not licensed by the band. It is also remastered against the wishes of the band. Isn't that shitty? Anyways, this is a killer album, and mine was all beat to shit, and I don't have another copy of it, and I'm pissed off because I used to have a Hammerheart version of it and I got rid of it. Anyways, picked it up for a couple of bucks. It is a killer record, so I can probably give away my water damaged copy to a friend or mine. Also picked up this Kampfar Kvass 2006. This is really good. I did not expect this to be as good as it was. I expected it to be maybe a little overproduced, maybe a little further removed from the Mellum Skogleda release and the other early stuff. It is really good, though. I'm really happy that I kind of picked that up. I wouldn't ordinarily have thought to pick that up. Also picked up, and this is going to go out to Eli, but I was surprised to find Foul Semen of the Sheltered Elite, one of my goddamn favorite records. And Van Records releases are, I kind of feel like they're not very well distributed in the United States. So I picked this up. It looks boring at first glance, but I noticed that it was on Van Records. So I thought, why not? Okay, we'll give it a shot. Took it home, and it's kind of good. And I looked it up, and Alexander von Meilenwald from Ruins of Everast plays drums on this band. Troopensturm, Fields of Devastation. There's a lot of things about this that are really typical, and not the kind of thing that I'm into these days. This sounds a lot like Blasphemy, Revenge, Diocletian, shit like that a lot of you guys are into, and I'm kind of I've got maybe 15 or 20 of those fucking albums, and they're all the same thing. But interesting to hear Mylenwald's take on this style. You know, I don't imagine it took him much time to just fucking blast nonstop for a couple of days to write these songs, but you know, it's all right. I wouldn't have gone out of my way to purchase it had I had heard it before, but I don't regret buying it. It's fun. It is very warlike. So that's it. That's it. We're done. I can go to bed now. We'll see you next time.